Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show that cuts straight to the heart of complex ideas, helping you grasp what truly matters. Our mission is to filter out the static, offering you a direct path to profound insights with surprising facts and just enough humor to keep you hooked.
And today, we're embarking on Wisdom Unveiled, episode 19 of our ongoing exploration into the profound wisdom of the 12th century Persian poet mystic Attar.
Right. And before we really pull back the curtain on today's deep dive, a quick but important heads up for you listening. This exploration is based on a translation of conversations with Iranian philosophers Dr. Ibrahim Dinani and Dr. Ismail Mansouri Larijani. Now, as with any translation, some concepts or details might not be fully conveyed, so we apologize in advance for any discrepancies there.
Absolutely. And in this deep dive, we're going to unpack Attar's truly unique perspective on a concept that, it really underpins the very fabric of existence, equilibrium. Or as it's known in Persian, he'll pronounce Attar. We'll probably mostly call it equilibrium today. But it's good to remember that Kurinki carries this deep, almost cosmic sense of balance. It's a concept that might be far more profound than you initially think. It connects to intellect, justice, and even the hidden depths of the universe itself.
Okay, yeah, let's explore this. Attar, as a mystic, he was just a master at distilling these deep ethical and mystical themes into his poetry, right? Often through these really captivating stories and verses. He opens a particular poem on equilibrium with a timeless saying from Imam Ali: "The right and the left are misleading, and the middle path is the straight road." That really sets a powerful stage.
It absolutely does. Attar masterfully constructs this poem, grounding it beautifully in that tradition. He was a truly great mystic, a pioneer whose insights laid groundwork for so many who came after him. He had this incredible ability to weave profound spiritual and ethical ideas into his verses and narratives. And this particular work, stemming from Imam Ali's saying, speaks directly to the core of equilibrium.
And some of the lines from this poem are just, they're breathtaking in their implications, he says. "Go in the middle, neither in honor nor in disgrace. For equilibrium is a part of the universal intellect." Akolikol. That last part. Equilibrium is a part of the universal intellect. That feels incredibly significant. What exactly is Attar hinting at there?
That's the profound implication here, yeah. When Attar speaks of the universal intellect, or Akli Wol, he's referring to much more than just, human intelligence. It's often understood as the cosmic mind, the overarching principle of order, maybe the divine intelligence that governs the entire universe. So he's suggesting that equilibrium isn't just a human ideal, like being moderate. It's intrinsically woven into the very fabric of existence itself. And while philosophers talk endlessly about justice, few really emphasize that equilibrium is in fact a fundamental facet of this universal intellect. Think about it. If there's no intellect, no universal intellect, as the guiding principle, then justice itself simply has no real meaning. Justice is, at its very core, an intellectual concept.
Wow, so it's not just about finding balance in our lives, but recognizing that balance is the very blueprint of the universe, and our minds are kind of wired to perceive it. It turns out your intellect isn't just smart, it's fundamentally balanced. That makes me think of Attar's striking analogy of rope making from the poem. He says, "Too much twist breaks the rope, even if it's 100 strands." It sounds like he's telling us that if we stray from that middle path, things can just unravel.
Exactly. Too much twist or too little, and the rope can't hold its form. It loses its purpose, right? And this principle extends way beyond the physical. The deeper point is that intellect itself is equilibrium. If the universal intellect is equilibrium, then the entire universe, in its very structure and function, operates on this principle. This brings to mind that profound concept. By justice, the heavens and earth stand firm. Bili Kwamet as-samawatu wal-ard. And this isn't just about the celestial heavens. It refers to the entirety of existence, from the highest spiritual realms down to the fundamental elements of the physical world. Think about, say, the stability of a building. It stands because of a precise equilibrium of forces and materials, or even our own bodies, made of countless elements and cells. There's this incredibly delicate balance that keeps us functioning. If that balance is disrupted, if the equilibrium is lost, the body just cannot endure.
It sounds like this fundamental equilibrium isn't just important, it's actually existential. Like without it, the universe would simply collapse. That raises a crucial question then. When Attar talks about equilibrium, is he just talking about avoiding extremism and negligence, ifrat wa tafrit, or, left and right? Or is there a deeper, more profound meaning to...
That's a beautiful question, and it's something worth exploring deeply. Let me give you an analogy with water. Hot boiling water isn't useful for us, it burns. Freezing cold water below zero also isn't functional. But lukewarm water, it's neither boiling hot nor freezing cold. Yet in a profound sense, it is both. It carries aspects of warmth and coolness without the harmful effects of either extreme. This illustrates that equilibrium isn't merely a quantitative middle point, like finding the exact halfway mark between two numbers. It's a qualitative state. Think of it less like a simple average and more like a masterful blend where you get the benefits of both extremes without the downsides. The lukewarm water isn't just not hot and not cold. It's perfectly soothing precisely because it holds aspects of warmth and coolness in harmony. This is its multiplicity of aspects.
Ah, okay. So it's not just neutral. It actually incorporates the essence of both sides in a positive way.
Exactly. And this connects back to the nature of intellect. True intellect always strives to become objective and concrete, to be rooted in reality. If thought isn't connected to reality, it's nothing more than an illusion, just fantasy. Attar's statement that equilibrium is part of the universal intellect means that this balanced objective reality is woven into the very fabric of existence. Now, Aristotle's concept of the golden mean in ethics, like courage being the middle path between recklessness and cowardice, that's insightful for sure. But Attar is presenting a deeper philosophical layer here, linking it to the core essence of existence itself.
Right, it's not just an ethical guideline, it's metaphysical.
Precisely. Now, there's a common misconception regarding wisdom or hikmah. While folly is certainly a negative extreme, deficiency, excessive knowledge is not an excess in the same way. True knowledge has no limit, no upper bound. You can't know too much. The excess to avoid isn't knowing too much, but rather something like excessive, curious, meddlesome curiosity, prying into things unnecessarily or just superficial meddling.
Okay, so learning more isn't the problem. It's maybe how you approach knowledge or getting bogged down in trivial stuff.
Something like that. And since intellect itself is justice, true intellectual advancement has no upper bound. It cannot be excessive. This is where we often err by viewing justice only quantitatively. For example, in economics, some might argue for a purely equal distribution of wealth, like in Marxism, believing that pure equality is justice. But if everyone had the exact same amount of wealth, would that truly be just? Probably not, right? It doesn't account for needs, effort, circumstances.
Yeah, that seems overly simplistic.
Exactly. This purely quantitative approach misses the mark. True justice, as Attar implies, is both quantitative and qualitative. Consider divine justice. It is undoubtedly a divine attribute. God must reward the good. This is a matter of justice. But what about forgiving sinners? If God forgives a sinner, is that against justice? Many theologians argue no, it is an act of absolute mercy, Rama, not a violation of justice. This highlights the qualitative, immeasurable aspect of divine equilibrium, showing that justice isn't merely about fixed measures, but also about the boundless nature of mercy.
That's a powerful distinction. Mercy transcends strict calculation.
Yes. And this idea of an immeasurable, expansive quality to justice, not just history calculation, is central to how Attar sees equilibrium operating not just in the divine, but in our own lives, too.
That makes sense. But it also makes me wonder, given how challenging it is to pinpoint equilibrium in abstract concepts, like mercy or forgiveness or even just ethical choices compared to, say, balancing a scale, how would Attar guide someone trying to navigate that in their own life? And can modern science, with all its precise measurements, actually help us find that ethical middle path?
Well, modern sciences like physics, despite their incredible advancements, they really can't determine the true middle path in ethics. Why? Because they lack the proper measure for spiritual realities. They deal with quantities, things you can count or weigh, not the qualities of the soul. They can measure the rope, maybe, but not its purpose or its proper place.
Okay, so science has its limits when it comes to these deeper questions. So if intellect is what measures everything else, it weighs, it discerns, it balances, then what measures intellect itself? What's its yardstick? How do we know our intellect is balanced?
The answer is intellect itself. Just as the scales we use for weighing are themselves designed and calibrated by intellect, intellect judges itself. It's self-referential in that way.
Intellect measures intellect.
Yes. And, the true enemy of knowledge, the real obstacle, isn't simple ignorance jail. It's the illusion of knowledge, tawahum-danesh. An ignorant person, someone who knows they don't know, they can be taught, they can learn, there's openness. But someone who thinks they know everything, who is trapped in the illusion of knowledge, cannot be taught. They have no space for new understanding.
So it's not the empty cup that's the problem, but the cup that thinks it's already full.
Exactly. A very humbling thought, isn't it? Especially maybe in our information-saturated age.
Definitely.
Furthermore, and this is crucial, humans are always more than what they currently know or do. We possess this infinite potential bilquawa for growth and understanding. There is no ultimate limit to human development. We are always more than our current state of being or knowing. Now, Imam Ali defined justice beautifully as, justice is placing a thing in its proper place. The true challenge, then, is discerning what that proper place is, and that task fundamentally requires intellect.
Right. Figuring out the proper place is the hard part.
It is. And you can contrast this with justice in the natural world that's often instinctive or takwini, like a lion hunting out of hunger. That's a kind of natural equilibrium. But in human society, justice requires conscious intellectual discernment and choice, and our actions, unfortunately, often disrupt the natural equilibrium in the world around us.
That really ties into the Quranic concept of umari wasat, or the middle nation, doesn't it? It sounds like it perfectly aligns with this idea of equilibrium, suggesting Islam itself embodies moderation in all aspects.
Indeed it does. The greatness of Islam as the middle nation is embodied in its moderation, avoiding both excess and negligence, ifrat and tafrit. And I want to offer maybe a fresh perspective on this middle path within Islam, thinking of it in terms of length, breadth, and depth.
Okay, length, breadth, and depth. Tell me more.
Well, first, it's length. Islam endures until the day of judgment. It's eternal. It's not meant to be superseded. Then it's breadth. It's universal geographical scope. It encompasses east to west, as in Rahmatan lil alamin, a mercy to all worlds. It has no geographical boundaries. And finally, it's depth. Moving beyond the superficial, the zahir, to the inner, the batin realities, going from the sensory realm to the intellectual, and even beyond that. We often focus on the length and breadth, its history and reach, but sometimes we neglect the depth.
That's a really interesting framework. So how does that depth manifest?
Consider the Quran's language itself, which beautifully illustrates this depth. First, you have clear composite words that convey direct commands like pray or give charity. They are explicit, understandable on the surface. Then you have this mysterious symbolic disjointed letters, the hurufi mokata, at the beginning of some chapters, like alif lam mim or yasin. These are clearly meant to require deeper interpretation, right? They invite you to search beyond the surface meaning.
Yeah, those are fascinating. They definitely signal there's more going on.
Exactly. But even more mysterious, perhaps, is a verse like, so he revealed to his servant what he revealed from Surah An-Nam, Quran 53.90. What he revealed is left completely undefined, veiled.
Wow. So it points to something beyond words.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Imam Ali interprets this verse as pointing to the secret of lordship, surubiyat, reaching the very essence of God's existence, the makumi zat. This is a level of reality that utterly transcends human language and comprehension. It signifies that true understanding always points to something more profound than what can be explicitly articulated. The outer forms, the words, the rituals, they are meant to lead us to these inner meanings, inviting an unending deep dive into reality itself.
Wow. Okay. We've certainly journeyed deep into Attar Nishapuri's profound understanding of equilibrium today, recognizing it not just as, a moral virtue, but as a fundamental component of the universal intellect, guiding everything from the cosmos down to our own bodies.
We've seen how true justice extends beyond mere numbers, how it embraces a qualitative depth, and how the intellect itself is the ultimate measure, constantly expanding, always potentially more than what it currently knows.
And we've glimpsed how this quest for equilibrium and deeper understanding can lead us from the apparent forms of knowledge, the zahir, towards the boundless hidden meanings within existence itself, the batin. It's really a journey into the qualitative depth of reality.
So for you, our listener, here's maybe a thought to ponder. If knowledge, intellect, and even the universe operate on this principle of an ever-unfolding qualitative equilibrium that has no fixed upper limit, what does that mean for your own pursuit of wisdom?
Yeah, how might consciously seeking that middle path, not just in your actions maybe, but in how you perceive information and reality, really pushing beyond the surface, how might that change your day-to-day understanding? What hidden depths might you discover in your own learning if you embrace this boundless quest, just as Attar suggests?
Something to ponder, indeed. A lot to think about there.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Wisdom Unveiled.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep pondering, and keep unveiling wisdom.